Alright, so in this video, I'm going to talk about quality of life in Queens. I've organized it into 3 categories, so that way I don't get off track. Now, I'm going to go off the record and say I'm not going to talk about any of the subways here in Queens because that's another video for another time that I don't really want to get into. And I'm not going to talk about the homeless crisis because, yes, even though we are facing a homeless crisis now here in Queens too, because it's spreading from Manhattan and it's now ending its rear end into Queens, that's another video I can make for another day if anybody wants to hear me talk about it. But I do want to talk about 3 issues that are of concern in this borough. One's going to be, of course, the income figures in this borough, how I think it has something to do with the Fort Washington branch getting half-hourly service. I'm also going to talk about the buses here in Queens. That's going to be at the end, of course. I do want to get into it. And I'm also going to talk about the transportation crisis we are facing thanks to Trottenberg's propaganda of bike and bus lanes. So, without further ado, let's get into quality of life here in Queens. Alright, so I pretty much found some very interesting and some disturbing numbers when we look at these interesting statistics when it comes to neighborhoods I'm going to get into. But let's just quickly check the average household income in this borough. So you see here, it's $77,000, which, okay, when you think about the average sales tax rate, you have to put that into consideration as well. It really puts a damper on what people spend, and honestly, these numbers, I don't even know what to make of these numbers, because honestly, in my opinion, the number one issue is, of course, shelter. And with the taxes going up, considering that I found out that the average property tax rate is around $10,000, it is alarming, and I keep hearing that the city wants to, of course, keep raising them, thanks to, of course, Bill de Blasio's antics. So $77,000. That's not going to cut it in the future if they keep raising taxes. And I keep talking about the city of New York. So let's just get into the neighborhoods here. So as you can see, Douglaston, $113,000. Pretty much same with Little Neck. I found something very disturbing with Cambria Heights. And this is something very disturbing that I didn't even know about because I was quickly taking a look at this. There's actually a lot of white-collar people who work in Cambria Heights. There's low percentage of blue-collar workers. And it alarms me because they influence the bus service. I think that's why they're getting better bus service down there on the Q27. And I'm sorry for making it personal, but look at this. $97,000? I thought this was a low-income neighborhood. I was expecting maybe, I don't know, $60,000. I guess not. Very alarming. And again, I don't know who's making these decisions. Why do they get better bus service down there? I don't understand that. That buses are crowded. I get that. If you take the Q27 and you're going to be complaining to me in the comments. But you guys down there have it easy. You guys have it down there easy. Here in Fresh Meadows, we get treated like garbage with our bus service. I'm going to get into that later on because they keep saying it. If you need bus service, take the Q46. Even that gets crowded. So before I get off topic, Bayside, $93,000. Now, these neighborhoods here, they are served by the Long Island Railroad. But Cambria Heights, that's a different story because the nearest Long Island Railroad stations are Queens Village and, of course, I forget. Yeah, St. Albans. Yeah, those are the closest. But the problem is they don't get enough train service. So they're technically discriminated. So guess what? They get better service on the Q27. Same with Bayside. Bayside sort of served by the Q27, but here's the thing. Auburndale gets most of the Q27 service. So, Glen Oaks, $85,000. Pretty much that's why they get to control the influence of why they get better bus service and why they get a route on 260th Street. Auburndale, my original home, $83,000 of the average household income. Fresh Meadows. Now, this is a tale of two different towns. $3,000 more. And I put it there for a reason because this number, I think it's sort of wrong. It at least has to be 90,000 at this point because these numbers are pretty much wrong in my opinion. Well, then again, when you look at the 25 to 44 group, this is the problem I'm having with lately. It's these people that are coming in from the city that are influencing my neighborhood. It's awful. And these people who are 45 to 64, okay, they're not the problem. They're not the problem. It's the people in a certain age demographic, these millennials like me, who are, in my opinion, they're more arrogant. All right, and what happens is, late at night, they're blasting their sports cars on 73rd Avenue, right by my house. And honestly, I can barely get sleep. In fact, a couple months ago, one time, some punk was going like 70 miles an hour, which, by the way, Joe de Blasio keeps saying, oh, well, there's a Vision Zero initiative. You're supposed to be doing 25 miles an hour. And I will admit, my dad admits sometimes he will gun it up to 33, which nobody really cares, but trust me, if I was a driver in the city, I would have my cruise control set to 25 all the time. I wouldn't even be stepping on the gas because I'd be afraid of getting a ticket. I would literally be scared because de Blasio lowered the speed limit. Now, I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. What I'm saying is I still would follow the law. And the problem is, these people... See, here's the thing. How do they have money for sports cars? I don't know how in the world are they able to do this. How, if you're making $86,000 a year, how are you affording $20,000, $30,000 in a car? Ridiculous. So, we go further down. College Point, $72,000. Flushing, less. But here's the thing I like about Flushing. This is the part I like about it. It's more of a mix of blue collar and white collar. So when you think about it, it's more of a mix compared to Fresh Meadows, where white collar individuals are the large majority. Flushing, I feel, is in decent shape. I mean, if they keep reliable service on the Q27, they'll be fine. Jamaica, $64,000 per average household income. But here's the thing, a lot of these properties are so expensive in the city. I'm not going to get into home prices, but maybe I will in another video. I don't know, because I'm only looking at average incomes today. Astoria, $63,000. But here's the thing I like about Astoria. it's a mix of white and blue collar again. Woodside, $61,000 a year. Look at the numbers here. A little bit more disturbing on the white collar side, but last but not least, we're going to go into an epic rant about Elmhurst, which in my opinion, I think Elmhurst, we'll get back to Elmhurst in a second. I just want to double check the numbers. Yeah, Elmhurst. This is a very disturbing number. $55,000. Okay? And I have talked about the average demographic when it comes to race in Elmhurst. Elmhurst single-handedly has the largest Latino population in this borough. You want to talk about them? They have the largest, one of the largest. I think the second was, of course, Jackson Heights. I'm pretty sure it was Jackson Heights. I'm not too sure, but I know for a fact Elmhurst is largely a Latino neighborhood. Okay, what does that mean? Well, for starters, most of the income from Elmhurst comes from, of course, all mixes of groups, including yours truly, who like to go to the Queens Center Mall. The problem is, and this is what I'm going to keep saying, it's the Q88. Alright? I'm facing this discrimination. What I don't get is, in a neighborhood that makes $86,000 a year, we're going to go back to, yes, Fresh Meadows for a point. This neighborhood makes $86,000 a year. You mean to tell me that people can't be treated fairly? And I found out a lot of people who live by LaFranc City, they're facing the same problem too. So they're pretty much part of this group as well. That's why it's $55,000 a year. Not just the Latinos. LaFranc City is the projects. Okay? And I feel it's unfair. It's not just me who wants to go into Fresh Meadows. It's not just me. Okay? It's other people who need this bus route too. Alright? And $55,000 a year. And believe me, we're going to get into the bus issue later on. Because honestly, I just feel that there are not enough buses. Alright? Bottom line. Even on a weekend, there's not enough buses. So, before I get into the bus situation, before I get into the transportation situation, I'm just going to say this. This is the problem with our borough. Is that there's a tale of two boroughs. You go to the North Shore, you go to Douglaston, you go to Little Neck. Guess what? They make a lot of money up there. But if you go to Elmhurst, that's an epic fail because honestly, it's awful. I mean, how in the world are you able to get away with this? I'm just looking at these numbers again. It's very, very astonishing. It's very, very astonishing. Median $65,000 a year, and the problem is you subtract that with 9,400 something that my dad was telling me about. I don't even know what the number was. That's a big difference. That's literally $56,000. Okay? And I will admit, my mom is a teacher. She makes a lot of money in the private sector now. I will quickly mention that, but you know, she's not part of the problem. She's not part of the problem. And so is my dad. They're not part of the problem. I'm going to say this again before I go into the transportation thing. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to completely say it again. It's these millennials. Alright? It's us that's causing the problem. I get that it says $36,000 a year. But from these people who own sports cars, it's them. It's them. I'm sorry for making it too personal, but I'm just annoyed and angry about it. So, before I start yelling, I'm going to talk about Polly Trottenberg and how I think she has a personal vendetta against Queens. Now, first up, and I talked about this in my walk and talk video last week, and me and my dad were talking about it last week as well, was that the paving. Yes, DOT paving. Guess who issued the DOT paving? That's right, Polly Trottenberg. It's awful. It really, really is awful what this woman is doing. And in fact, I checked the schedule for the paving next week. It doesn't look like right now there's going to be paving on Union Turnpike. So it looks like they're done with it, hopefully. And hopefully I won't be hearing any buses going by my house on 73rd Avenue anymore. Well, that's not the issue. But the issue is that this woman literally could not realize the road was fine. And this is what my dad agreed with me on, is that there was no need to pave the road. No need at all. And this woman literally just wants to make life living hell for people in this borough. Alright? You see here, this is the photo that I talked about from my News in Northeast Queens segment from November. This accident right here. Alright? You see here, this is the bike lane. There's no need for it. Same with this, the Woodhaven Boulevard one. I did a video about it. There's absolutely no need for it. We were literally stopping and going on Woodhaven Boulevard back in March because, honestly, this woman, again, she does not like Queens. Now we're going to see if we can find that other bike lane. Show you the bike lane by Cunningham Park. If I can't find it, I apologize, but I know it was somewhere. Oh man, another problem. Queens Boulevard. Another bike lane that she put in. See what I mean? This woman literally has no clue how to run a bike lane. Right? Bottom line. I'm trying to figure out if I can find it. If I can't find it, I apologize. Cunningham bike lane. If I can't find the photo, I apologize. But yeah, this is it right here. This is the bike lane that everybody has concerns with. This bike lane right here, one with the stop sign is. Yep, I was just there yesterday, and my dad doesn't like how he has to suddenly stop at the stop sign. He was always used to just flooring it, getting back onto the Horace Harding Expressway. Now you can't. You see what I mean? This is awful, what this woman has done. I showed you, I lost the photo, but, if I can find it, I can find it. See? This is a proper example. This is from May 2012. I get that. But the story is, this bike lane was here way before de Blasio took over. So this is from 2012. I think it's a good example of, yeah, here's 2017. Here's most recent. Here's 2017 right here. Yep. This is the point I'm trying to make here, is that this bike lane was perfectly constructed to help people park their cars. And the bike lane on 210th Street, they put the cars on this side of the road. They're not supposed to park like that. The bike lane is right here. It's more blatancy right here that Mrs. Trottenberg doesn't like Queens. And here's more blatancy right here, and it goes into my next and final point I'm going to talk about. I found out something very disturbing from Pine Power the other day. Something very, very, very disturbing. Look at this. Trottenberg is on the MTA board. She must have something to influence the Q27 route. So, now I'm going to get into the bus routes that basically serve Queens And then I'm going to get into Nice Bus and how it's made living hell for people who need to get between Nassau and Queens. Here's the example of the buses that are going to Flushing right now. There are 3 buses, 4 buses, 6 buses, 7 buses on the route right now. 7 buses. Right? Here's one example. And here's another example of what I have to deal with every day. Let's see how many buses are on this route. Yeah. There are 4 buses going to Queens Village right now. But guess how many buses are on the 88 to Elmhurst right now? On a Sunday. 4. See, this is the whole point. There are more buses on the Q27 right now on a Sunday. On a Sunday, for crying out loud, than the 88 does. There are more buses on the 27. I'll go into the 46 for a sec. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 right now. You can't get any more blatant than this. Let's check the 17. Alright, so, right now there's about 2 buses finishing its route. Thankfully, today's Sunday, so there's less traffic, so that's a good excuse. 6 buses. See what I mean? Now, if we can check Nice Bus, we'll quickly take a look at it. I'm pretty sure there's, yeah, see, Transit app is supposed to support Long Island. Right? They don't talk about, well, you know. See, this is the point I don't get, is that if I want to track Nice Bus online, here's Nice Bus's website. Just as an example. Let me just try to enter, let's see as an example. I had it loaded up, and then all of a sudden this thing, yeah, here we go. Here's the example. The next N22 bus is coming in 7 minutes. The one going to Hicksville right now. But you have to wait another 15 minutes just to get on a bus to Hicksville. And then take a look at this. The next bus to Great Neck is not coming for another 55 minutes. Yep, probably another breakdown. So now, my point about Nice Bus is that it causes a living hell for people who need to get between Queens and Long Island. And the issue with this I have is that it used to be reliable when, and I'll say it again, I'm going to get into it. Let me just find the old Long Island Bus logo. Long Island Bus. Let me show you it. Let me show you it again. Long Island Bus. The old Long Island Bus right here. Right down there. I used to remember these old Orion 5s with Long Island Bus. They were very reliable. Still run by the MTA. But again, it's all about Cuomo and Mangano. Right? And with Trottenberg, Her deal is, well, you don't really matter in Fresh Meadows. Screw you. I'm gonna do whatever I want to make your life a living hell. You only get one reliable bus route. Meanwhile, in Nassau County, if you want to get between Nassau and Queens, guess what? You have to ride this piece of junk. This freaking piece of junk right here. Before Mangano left office, guess what? That man put his name on these buses. Veolia. And now it's Transdev. See what I mean? Quality of life is awful. Long Island bus needs to come back. Plain simple. And these examples of quality of life in Queens just make me scared of what the future can bring. And I've pretty much accomplished what I wanted to talk about in this video, is that I'm very scared. Alright, I don't know what's going to happen in the next couple years. And in my opinion, and this is how I feel, it's de Blasio, it's Cuomo, it's Mangano, it's Trottenberg. They're influencing decisions that are ruining overall quality of life in this borough. Right? They're all connected into one group, I feel. Cuomo's the one on the top. You can see him on the right with his buddy Ed Mangano. You can see Bill de Blasio there just looking stupid. And then you see Polly Trottenberg not smiling at all, being smirky and evil. Alright? These people are ruining quality of life in the borough of Queens, right? It's all of them. And Mangano, I blame, and I'm going to say this again, it's because Queens Village, the night bus drivers are ending up working for MTA. That's why you're seeing a lot of these people ending up working for MTA. And it makes me sick. It really does. And I'm going to continue to talk about what's going on with the buses, because if I ever see a breakdown, because I have a bad feeling the buses are going to break down one day. I don't even know when it will happen. I'm going to film it. I'm really going to film it. I've only been on one bus that broke down. I wish I got that on tape, but in the future, I am going to continue doing this in terms of the buses in Queens, because the media just refuses to talk about it. And one more thing. The air traffic going to LaGuardia Airport. I'm always used to it. So, John, if you're used to the planes flying by your apartment in Mineola, I feel the same way too. Alright, so that's going to wrap up this video. I've covered what I needed to talk about, and I'm glad I got it out, because all these thoughts are out in the open, and hopefully it'll start a discussion. And despite the controversy that this video may have brought, I could care less. Okay? I love this borough. I'm from this borough. Nobody's ever going to change that for me, alright? And if they're telling me that I'm not welcome here, well, too bad, because I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting to tell all these people, well, I belong here. You can't force me out. It's the same thing with John on Long Island. They're forcing him out in Nassau. Well, they're not going to force me out in Queens. I'm going to keep fighting. So, that's it. Thank you for watching.